Revelation 1878. From the 6th of April 1941. Right of self-determination. The innermost instinct for truthfulness can be followed by the human being and also not. This is also an act of self-determination in the stage of free will. No one forces the human being to decide differently than it is his innermost instinct. But this instinct is the expression of the Spirit in him. When God freed the beings from the power of the adversary, this was not an act of violence in itself but a release from the power. The Spirit felt this and used the freedom but again to fall away from God. That is, it did not make use of the freedom offered to it in order to finally return to God but subordinated itself anew to the will of the adversary, and thus the freedom of its will was now taken from it by being banished into form. It now had to act according to God's will, but the slightest giving up of resistance against God brings it relief of its state and now awakens the desire in the being for complete freedom, which is simultaneously expressed in the will to serve. Thus the being itself makes the final decision by entering the stage of free will as soon as its bound will decides to serve. The being therefore attains the right of self-determination. The adversary of God has indeed been deprived of power through time immemorial, but the being has never been brought to God through coercion. Instead, this return to the Father has to be accomplished by the being itself, and its will is complied with insofar as the fate in eternity fully corresponds to this will. Anyone who wants to go to God will be allowed to stay close to Him. Anyone who resists God will have to suffer unimaginably due to his distance from God. And the separation as well as the unification has been brought about itself, thus the being has made use of its right of self-determination. Amen.